Ladies and gents, hi and welcome back to another episode of CasualCraft. I'm your host once again, RedRipz, right here in my bedroom, sat drinking coffee, telling you about StarCraft 2. Now, today's game on Star Station, in the top left-hand corner, we're going to be seeing the Master League player, Rivaille. Sounds like he doesn't like things. Red Zerg player. Up here in the top left-hand corner of the map, and down in the bottom right-hand corner we have Blue Zerg player for today's ZVZ game, Master League also. It's XT Clairvoyance. So we'll have to see if Clairvoyance here can predict the future here as his 7 pool comes down straight away. Hopefully, for his sake, Rivaille is going to go for a particularly late spawning pool or something, because otherwise he's going to defend this really easily. Being in Masters League and having the control to deal with this sort of pressure. So this is good straight away. It's good to see a nice little something slightly more cheesy out of this sort of game. It's to be honest, Zerg v Zerg, everyone says is a really volatile matchup, and they're right. It is. There's it's the kind of matchup where little things, more than any other like mirror matchup, because every mirror matchup is quite volatile, but I think Zerg v Zerg, more than any other matchup, it can go either way at the drop of a hat. A few banelings in the right place, that sort of thing, you can just totally turn the game around. It's very strong. So we're seeing a double. I think it's going to be a double extractor trick here out of Clairvoyance. And yeah, that's 1, 2 down. Yep, cool. That was a little bit slow to be honest, but I think he was waiting for lava to come out of his hatchery. So he's using his extractor trick to try and speed up how quick he can get out his drones behind this initial 6 lings here, which he's got out of his 7 pool. So we're going to see if he can do any damage with this. Now, I've had a little bit of a Google, and apparently there are some maps are cross position only, whereas others are not. And Star Station is one of those maps that's cross position only here. So Clairvoyance is going to take maximum advantage of this by charging directly across the map. Unfortunately for him, directly underneath Rivaille's Overlord. So Rivaille will be aware that this is incoming. We're going to have to see if he can come up with anything here to stop Clairvoyance's cheeky little 7 pool that he's coming in with here. Now, Clairvoyance will be behind on economy at this stage, obviously, as essentially he's not got his second down. He got down a much earlier pool, cut drones to do so. However, he can sit at the front quite happily and just eat away at this hatchery of Rivaille's, because Rivaille has absolutely nothing down yet. His pool's finished up now. We've got a spine crawler coming down the mineral line, and the first few set of lings are coming down. However, they aren't actually going to be able to defend that hatchery there, as it was cancelled now. So we'll see some back and forth here between Rivaille and Clairvoyance here, and just have to wait and see what they can do. Now, really, Rivaille should be able to get away with this. If you can stick everything underneath near the spine crawl and stay underneath there and use his drones to fight off the lings, shouldn't be too much bother in defending this sort of pressure. As while lings are, obviously a pain in the arse, having a few of your own plus a few drones and a spine crawl on your mineral line, there's really not very much they can actually do there beyond get some scouting information. Maybe pick off the odd drone here and there on the edges, like here of the extractor, or just clear up 1 or 2 lings there. But really, we're not going to get too much out there. As that was actually quite a nice micro there. He took the weaker lings to the back, as he's supposed to. So it does look like it's going to be continuing for the foreseeable future, which is definitely a good thing. I have also remembered today to set my status as away, or busy, sorry. So this time no one should be bothering me mid-game, which would be very nice there, as the lings do. Yeah, they do. They get it. That was quite unlucky for Rivaille there, as his queen popped out and was instantly surrounded by the blue lings of Clairvoyance there, who I guess saw into the future, saw that coming, got a perfect little surround on, and managed to just pick it off, escaping with just a single ling of his own on the end of this. This pressure there now. So obviously Rivaille is going to survive this, although now he might be slightly more even in terms of position he's in, because his second base is much further behind Clairvoyance's second now, which is nearly finished, to be honest, although Rivaille is aware of this. However, Rivaille does have his Baneling Nest down now, and he's getting Zerg's speed coming out, which are both things that our other Zerg player here hasn't actually managed to do yet. He's not really mining any gas whatsoever, despite having an extractor down. I'd imagine he'll start on that before too long, so he can get Zerg speed out. As without Ling speed, if your opponent has Ling speed, you're in a real bunch of trouble here. As the Ling speed's about to finish up, we're going to get another 10 seconds probably before Rivaille tries and charges into this. Although he really is going to struggle against these Lings. He kind of needs to get a run by on. Maybe he can squeeze through, get up the ramp, do some damage in the main. That would be quite nice from Rivaille here. As the second, obviously, we'll have a spine crawler down on it now, and we're going to be having the queens and all, big pack of lings here at the bottom. Not very much Rivaille can do straight up, so we might see some poking around here, but it's not going to be too damaging really. Shouldn't be able to do anything that's particularly awful there. So if we just have a quick look at the workers killed tab, Clairvoyance managed to take out 2 workers with that, which was pretty good. However, Rivaille did fight off slightly more units, so they're pretty much even, to be honest, in most grounds. I mean, a couple of extra workers there is kind of a big difference really early game, although it does look like they're going to both transition out of it without too much bother. These looks like these Lings of Rivaille are just going to sit out the front here as some of the Lings of Clairvoyance go off to do a bit of scouting around the map, see what beautiful treasures they can find as the Overlords of Clairvoyance here are just going to be wandering around, having a little look around, and the Lings of Rivaille here at the front just poking in and out, really, nothing too much. Might see if this drone gets picked off here. I think we're probably going to see evolution chambers here or something like that, so that we can get double queens out and block the front. Just because that drone's been sat there for so long, it looks like he's waiting for this little bit of creep here to finish up so he can do just that. Because surely the spine crawler would have gone down by now if that was the case. Let's wait and see though. I'll be interested to see where this goes. He is definitely waiting for that, so I'd imagine he's just waiting for it to be in a position where he can complete the wall off. Meanwhile, we're seeing a layer come out of Rivaille here, so it looks like we'll be going into the early mid-tier pressure. Yep, there's the evolution chamber down at the front. And this all forms part of the wall. Basically, the idea is that if you can make the gap at the front smaller, it takes a lot less of your own men to plug the gap against these run-bys. Especially when you've got no Zergling speed, Clairvoyance needs to play very much on the defensive here at this stage of the game. Meanwhile, up in Rivaille's base, we're seeing a second come down now. We're getting queens out. We've got the layer up here. We're going to see the spire start up now. Very standard Zerg play here. Zerglings, Banelings, which I imagine we'll see the speed upgrade on before too long, and obviously the muters should be coming out the spire once that's completed there. I wouldn't really say either player is particularly ahead. I mean, Clairvoyance is behind on tech, however, I'd say that he's probably in a better defensive position at the moment. He does have more Lings out though, so actually he's going to be pushing forward with those. As Rivaille just clearing up these few here, but he didn't actually see the main group of Lings heading up the thick of the map there, so they'll be quite happily running into this second base and doing a whole bunch of damage there, I'd imagine, unless, well, we'll see what this spine crawler and queen defense can do here at the front here, as Clairvoyance is now going to be moving in here at the front. We're taking down the last couple of Lings there, and they are slow Lings, but it doesn't really make too much difference. We're on creep. There's the Ling speed finishing up now. We're going to see both these units fall here, as Rivaille isn't going to be enjoying this for the foreseeable future. As he does manage to stick 2 drones down on the extractors, I imagine. I'm not sure if those were to save the drones or if to get more gas, because he will be needing more gas to get his muters out here. As Clairvoyance has put more drones, more Lings in here, and they'll be clearing up the few Lings that Rivaille has and causing a whole bunch of trouble here on his middle line. Although this shouldn't be game winning at this stage, it's basically just such a small amount of Lings, and with Rivaille getting his own units out as well, it shouldn't be too much bother. Meanwhile, Clairvoyance behind that's getting up more Lings, more Queens, more Banelings. He's walled at the front, as I thought, with the dual Queen Evo chamber combination there at the front. We're seeing loads and loads of workers down for him on both bases now, so I imagine he'll be splitting out to a third base soon, since he's got so many workers on his second there. We haven't actually yet got any sort of spire down. Oh, we do, sorry. No, that's a spore crawler there, just at the top. Yeah, it does look like he'll be just defending against the Mutalisks for now, essentially, because he must have seen the spire. If we just have a little select some of his units, a little gander, see if he's actually found that. Yes, he has seen the spire, so that's absolutely fine. He will be getting ready to defend that. And we're seeing Overlords being chased away here by the first few mutants coming out of Rivaille here. He's just going around picking them up one at a time, I think, not really seeing too much. He's not marauding around killing everything there yet. He's going to have to obviously sit and defend against these Lings here as his own Lings flood in and play that up quite nicely. So we've been seeing the start of Mutable here out of Rivaille. I would say at this point he's probably ahead in that respect. He's got more tech out, despite his slightly weaker count of supply there. And yeah, we have seen a bunch of workers killed for Clairvoyance there. I'd still reckon that Rivaille is generically ahead, because he should be able to defend pretty much anything that Clairvoyance throws at him right now, including this set of Lings that are heading up the map here. Basically, he's got the muter advantage. He can sit with the muters above the Lings and they'll just go through them. Yeah, we're seeing the last of the Overlords at the front cleared up now here, so Clairvoyance really needs to be careful. He's obviously dragging in all his Overlords again there to make sure they're not going to be getting picked off by these now marauding Mutalisks here that we've got going around the map. We're going to be seeing what we've got in the second base. Hatchery finishing up there as well to be the layer there, so we should be seeing the Spire come down any second now out of Clairvoyance here. He's actually got a hell of a lot of Queens out now at this stage, which is obviously really good against Mutalisks, who's she's actually managing to just distract by running his Lings around the map. This is all good stuff, because really, just as long as he can keep the Mutalisks away for long enough to get his own Spire out, he should be pretty safe here, because he does have a slightly better economy than Rivaille, because of obviously the lost workers and the lost mining time on that second base, as he completely ransacked it with his set of Lings there at the front. Meanwhile, we're seeing Rivaille now move in at last with his Mutalisks here. Not really seeing anything much in the way of upgrades out of either player. I don't think either player's gone for 1-1 on anything yet, or anything like that. So yeah, we're all playing with basic units here. No advantages like that to consider as of yet. We're getting a whole bunch of another swell of Lings out of Clairvoyance here. So he's basically just trying to defend, I think, because to be honest, he has lost most of his lings. He's got a few here now, but Rivaille's lings are starting to outnumber him, especially with the Mutalisks above as well. It's a real problem here, and I don't think Clairvoyance is going to be able to defend this third base. A lot of the fight here will be in trying to keep this alive, as he does end up cancelling it there. Yeah, it's quite unfortunate really for him. Actually, then I would have liked to see him get the third base down and start moving it to third base, but without enough units to re-support it, considering he's off creep there, and the Queens can't really fight off creep, it's going to be a real issue for Clairvoyance there to keep up with his opponent if he can't start getting these muters out soon with that third base tech. As Rivaille does stick down his own third now, so he's ahead in that respect, I guess. Although actually they're pretty much even in terms of how far ahead they are on their third base there. They're both pretty much caught up with supply now. We're starting to finally see 1-1 come out of both players here, as Clairvoyance will be building his first set of 9 Mutalisks here, which should bring him very much back into the game in that respect. I mean, he is, I would still say very much ahead. I mean, he does have more like just more stuff out generally at this stage of the game. He's getting out 9 muters as well, which I think will probably be more than how many we've got. 13, sorry, for Rivaille there. So it's pretty even at this stage. They're not really engaging, so there's not really any of that sort of high-level Korean style play where you end up with constant engagement and the muters coming backwards and forwards and all that sort of thing. That was quite nice taking out a Baneling there with those two lings. It's always nice getting a Baneling out of that, as the muters will be coming down the bottom of the map. It looks like we're having a little air battle for the two groups down here as they actually they're going to completely miss each other. That's quite comical really, that they could come so close as that but still completely miss each other on the flight around the map there for both players, which I quite liked. Meanwhile, behind that, of course, I mean, basically what I was talking about before with the high-level Korean play, often you see whoever gets ahead in muters first pretty much wins the game, or at least it has been that way for a short while in ZVZ in the Korean play that I've seen anyway. Although I guess that might have changed a little bit since we saw the Spore Core upgrade about a month ago. It does look like Rivaille's muters, obviously because he's ahead on the number of muters, he's just going to be able to clear up this bunch of Clairvoyances here if Clairvoyance does decide to engage at all. So he will just have to run away back to his own base now. He needs to find the safe refuge above his Queens and Spore Crawlers, and also some more Mutalisks there now. So we are going to be seeing similar numbers of Mutalisks out of both players. We've got a lot more Zerglings out for Clairvoyance though, so his ground army is a lot stronger at this stage, as well as a slight advantage on the Queens there as well. So he should be able to defend a lot better than Rivaille will be able to if Rivaille does find himself on the back foot there. We're seeing more and more lings coming out here for Clairvoyance here, so it does look like he's swelling up for some sort of attack now. I'm just going to check how many workers he's got. Yeah, they're both on the 50s, so they could both probably do a few more workers if they're going to take this third base seriously here. But with these swells of lings coming out, it does look like we'll be seeing quite a lot in the way of pressure here out of Clairvoyance very, very soon. So we'll have to see how Rivaille's going to defend this. He has spotted the ling swarm coming at the top of the map, so it does look like his mutes should be heading home to help defend against this, as I don't think he's got enough lings of his own to actually defend that by himself. And no, the lings will be swelling straight up through the main base here of Rivaille here, and absolutely just running through all these drones here as Clairvoyance's own lings are desperately trying to sort of deal with this, but they're actually going to get through that group there. Yeah, so that was actually a much better defence out of Rivaille than I thought we were going to get there. It did look like Clairvoyance was going to massively outnumber him, but with just the sheer number of sort of the way the lings split up across the mineral line, it did allow Rivaille to get the slight advantage and actually pull ahead in that respect. I think we also might be seeing 1-1 here out of. Let's have a look at the players' upgrades. Yeah, so actually, no, sorry, Clairvoyance still doesn't have the upgrade on his own troops there. Has he even started it? No, I thought he had, but he must have cancelled those in the past there. And we're getting a macro hatch out of him now as well, so it looks like he's really struggling to get some sort of force out in the hopes of overwhelming his opponent. Although, to be honest, with Rivaille here at with the massive ball of muters and all these tech upgrades, he's going for 2-2 now across the board. Although he doesn't have anything, so he's got one defense upgrade on his flyers there with the muters. Now apparently it's better with the muters to go for the defensive upgrades first, whereas you'd normally go for the attacking upgrade. It's to do with the way the shots bounce. So like if each muter's going to be taking multiple hits every time their opponent fires, you want to be having the defense there, like to stop those extra hits. As unfortunately Rivaille's Spire does just straight up forth this massive ball of muters the Clairvoyance had there, so that will be a bit of a spanner in the works there for Rivaille, although it does actually look like he's taken out quite the vast amount of Clairvoyance's muters there, so maybe this ball of muters might give him enough time to get another Spire up behind this, which is actually going to be coming out of his second base now. If basically this ball of muters he needs to use now to make sure that Clairvoyance can't get the advantage on the muter ball. As I imagine behind this, he should be building more mutas. Yeah, we're seeing odds and sods coming out of his main bases here. There's, we've got another swarm of lings going up the top there. They're going to have a little glance along. I'd imagine just for another little run by here in the main. It's usual sort of crack, really. There's not really anything in the way of defence out of Rivaille here, other than this massive ball of mutas. So really, he's just got to sit those over the Zerglings and, well, get through them as quickly as possible, as you can see. So obviously, yeah, we've got the defensive upgrade for both players now. We're seeing the Lings just sort of chase each other around here. There's really nothing sort of decisive at this stage, although actually now Clairvoyance is going to be up the Hydralisk Den, so it looks like he's moving into a more sort of ground-based composition to deal with these mutas now, as opposed to taking on the massive muta swarm of his own here. I mean, he is still producing mutas, but I think with the help of the Hydralisks, he should be able to deal a lot of damage. And maybe take down Rivaille's own muta ball here before he can get his own Spire back up again behind this. I think, yeah, Spire's cleared up again now, actually, sorry, so that's that should be absolutely fine then, not really any problems there. Meanwhile, on the third base Rivaille here, just more stuff going down. We've seen the Spine Crawlers and Spore Crawlers come out here now, so he's just getting very defensive at this point. Both players are sort of turtling up a bit, getting ready to do something there. While meanwhile, Clairvoyance is going to be moving out with his mutas, actually, sorry, now I thought he was going to be sitting back, but no, he's obviously with this third base now, he's transferring a bunch of drones in there. Looks like we might be getting some sort of heavy pressure out of Clairvoyance before too long here, as his third base is obviously completely swollen up there now with drones, although actually I haven't got much left in the main there for him, so we might have to wait and see what he does with this. Meanwhile, we're seeing obviously upgrades coming out from there for the Hydralisks. He's just basically transitioning at this ground army now to help deal with this massive ball of mutas that we've got going on for both players here, if I can just somehow keep control of the camera. Which plays ahead? We've got Rivaille still massively ahead on the muta count here as the fourth base of Clairvoyance is taken out. He didn't see that one coming, unfortunately, with his Clairvoyance ability. It does look like with that in mind, we'll just be building more and more lings. Not going to be getting a third mining base quite yet, as obviously the main base is pretty much mined out at this point for Clairvoyance here, so he does really need another mining base, although actually with Rivaille also out of his main mining base, it does look like he's only down to 2 mining bases, and even one of those is only half saturated, so he really does need that third as well, and also more drones out of this base carried down to the second there. Seeing little bits of action here out the middle of the map, nothing too major, just for some reason. Oh yeah, so you've made the drone extractor to save it to stop being killed by the pressure that was here, and that'll be turning up the third base now there, of course. So yeah, no, good stuff. As I thought, we basically need to get third base down each is the biggest issue at the moment, because as most Zergs will tell you, without 3 bases, you're really going to struggle to produce the numbers of units that you need to produce, because Zerg's a lot about throwing your units in and getting value for money out of them. And then just building another army. So like against Protoss late game death balls and stuff, a lot of the time you'll basically want to throw your whole army in, take out as much as you can, and you should be able to remax it before they get to your base. As long as you've got 3 mining bases and additional macro hatcheries as well to help with that, if you're not entirely up to scratch with your lava injects, which we're seeing the odd miss lava inject here. I mean, to be honest, when you get to this point of the game, it's something that you really do have to keep on top of, but it's obviously quite difficult to do because you're a little bit busy moving around massive groups of lings and now Hydralisks as well, which are moving up the map here. Now, these are a little bit exposed here, these Hydralisks. If we saw this ball of mutas come over at this point, I imagine we'd see the Hydralisks fall then, especially against this massive amount of banelings here. I really hope we're not going to see these banelings going on the lings here. They killed quite a few, but not enough really. And now, oh god, now if these banelings can get in on these Hydras are just all going to fall here. We're going to see Rivaille go straight through all this, and yeah, absolutely. Hydras have so little health there. Really, we need to be engaging everything at once with the this sort of mutalist count out. You need to get all your Hydras in, you need your lings underneath to help tank some damage, and also have the mutas there on top as well, obviously dealing more and more damage to that there. But obviously Clairvoyance's mutas were actually out in the main base of Rivaille there, as he does take down another building there, which I actually missed what exactly that building was, but it does look like the last of his mutas will be getting cleared up here by these this marauding ball of mutas of Rivaille. He's just got so many mutalisks out now here. If we just take another look at the units tab there, he's still 20 mutas clear on that, so that's very strong out of him. And we're seeing, obviously we've seen a hive come out of Rivaille here now as well, so he will be going for the later game tech. He's getting his infestation pit down as well. It's all very nice. Oh, that must have been the infestation pit that fell there, so that's probably why he got the hive out so early. And I think he might have actually even, not his day to finish, he did. I was going to say, there's not really any point in not letting it finish, but it's always worth bearing in mind. You see some interesting plays out of players, especially in Masters League and stuff. You see some really cool sort of innovative ways of keeping things going. So with that in mind, we're seeing 3-3 coming out for melee units for Rivaille here. This is basically his Ling Bling marauding group there that'll be going on any minute now once he's got the rest of these Zerglings and Banelings put together here. Meanwhile, Rivaille, he's just going to be chasing around this muted ball of Clairvoyance here. It doesn't actually look like he'll be taking it out like I perhaps thought he might. Although if he does let mutants wander off like that, he's going to see them fall quite quickly, which is not ideal, but it's the best thing really for Clairvoyance there. If he can take advantage of little splits like that, it's really good for his muted ball there, as it just looked like the last of these will be falling here. So yeah, I mean, to be honest, unless Clairvoyance can really get this third base up and running and everything mining again, he's going to really struggle to deal with this massive ball of mutants now, as basically he lost all his Hydras before, and now he's barely any mutants left now. So I mean, he has pulled out a whole load more Hydras. I mean, he doesn't quite have the amount needed, I don't feel, but he's got a good number there. So I mean, to be honest, the problem with these mutants is just getting rid of them. Once you take down this initial pack, it should be okay to sort of. It's very difficult to get that sort of number up again. But the fact that he's been building them up all game without any sort of reset, it's really difficult here for Clairvoyance to deal with here. As Rivaille will just be pushing in on the third base here of Clairvoyance, taking out a few drones here and there. He's Clairvoyance is going to struggle with this. He's trying desperately to keep his mutants alive while also stopping the mutants of Rivaille from dealing too much damage to him. But to be honest, he's really struggling here. He just doesn't have quite enough anti-air out at this stage, which to be honest is a constant problem for Zerg. I mean, against any race, getting your anti-air out is a real difficulty. I mean, early game obviously you just don't have any except their queens, and then you get in the mid game where you've got Hydras, but unfortunately Hydras die really quickly to pretty much everything, because they've got absolutely nothing in the way of health compared to a lot of other units. I mean, just check the difference there. Like a Roach, for example, at 2/2 is 145 health. Hydra has 80. So yeah, not much, not much going on in the way there. Meanwhile, obviously, this marauding ball of mutants of Rivaille here is doing quite a good job of keeping Clairvoyance back in his base at the moment. Although, well, he was till he pulled away like that, which has allowed Clairvoyance to move out now, as there's basically nothing to defend his base from. So obviously we've seen Ultralisk come out now, the late game composition going on here for Rivaille. This isn't really that good against mutants, obviously, because you've got to have the mutants to defend it, or some sort of anti-air to defend it, but like, against this sort of army, Roach Hydra, this just goes through it. Like the Lynx can keep everything in place, the Banelings roll through all the Hydras, and that was an absolutely beautiful engagement out of Rivaille there. He really ate that up there. Like they basically use the Lings like you put them around the back of the opponent's units to hold everything in place, and then just wolf everything down with the massive hugs of the Ultralisks there, as they come in with their huge tusks and just hug everything to death. It's really quite entertaining. So here's basically, I think Clairvoyance might have just fallen out of this game now. I don't think Rivaille can really fail to lose this at this stage. He's got way more troops. He's got much higher supply going on there as well. He's got a much bigger army. There's no way this mutinous ball is falling. And to be honest, Clairvoyance is going to struggle to deal with this Baneling Ultralisk composition that we've got going on here at the front, especially when he can't even keep hold of his second mining base at this stage. He's down to 0 mining bases now, Clairvoyance here, so we're really seeing virtually no economy from him whatsoever now. Oh, sorry, 1 mining base, sorry, I missed that one. Which is a real issue there, because considering his opponent has at least 2, and a third one coming up as well there on the minimap. We'll just have a little look there as these Ultralists will just be wandering in, clearing up all the queens, clearing up the roaches, just eating up all the buildings, hug. And honestly, they're the friendliest units in StarCraft, these guys. They just want to party, you know? Look at them hugging this guy as he's trying to headbutt them away. So nasty of them. And yeah, well, GG. Well, that was, to be honest, that was a really nice game out of both players. We saw some nice harass, especially out of Clairvoyance's early game. His early game was really strong. He got some, like, he obviously got the early Lings out and was ahead on the bases and economy for quite a lot of it. Despite the fact that he went for the much earlier spawning pool, he did enough damage and caused enough hassle for Rivaille that Rivaille basically fell behind. But Rivaille took some risks. He got a nice little defense going, despite not really walling off at the front here in the same way as Clairvoyance decided to. I mean, I really like this wall of Clairvoyance's here. It's sort of, I mean, it's standard stuff, but it just helps keep the Lings out, whereas Rivaille didn't manage to do that at all. Yet he still managed to get the better economy going. He had more drones out. He had more and more bases out, and he was defending them better, and he just basically went at the mutas earlier and got a shit ton of them out before Clairvoyance could really do anything about it. And then obviously by that point, once you're losing the Mutalisk war, it's very difficult to get back in it. I mean, if it's easier in this sort of level game where 2 players are just poking at each other here and there, and it's not sort of constant. And the one with the most mutas makes it known he's got the most mutas all the time. Like, he sits on top of the other player's mutas as often as he can and makes sure that he can like basically just stay ahead in that respect. However, obviously, I guess these guys, like, they did a lot of that, but not like in the same way as you might perhaps see in the GSL. But it's still in the end, it made all the difference. As obviously Rivaille has completely taken this game here. He's with his massive amount of neuters there, and then followed by the Ultra transition at the end was just exactly what you needed, just to push back the Roach Hydra army of Clairvoyance into his base and hug all the buildings, as we saw there. So yeah, another excellent game, and thanks very much for watching once again. This has been CasualCraft. I'm your dreadlock caster, RedRipz, and hopefully I'll be back tomorrow and I'll have another good game. So thanks once again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all those beautiful things, and I will see you another time. GG to both players. Thanks.